All right. We're about at the midway point of the season. We're about to go into the All-Star break. The Penguins are actually doing all right. They are in what? First place? Third place in the Metro. Not bad.
Fluctuating.
So all is, you'd think all is well, but no, it's not. It's not.
No. Too many odd man rushes. Can we just start there?
Well, yes.
I'm like, sorry to be a little preemptive there, Joe, but
no,
I haven't been able to watch every single game, but I've been able to watch like more than usual because I'm being antisocial. And Friday in particular, okay. And I want to say this: the Smith had an amazing game Friday night. Amazing. They had no business being in overtime or a shootout.
One of the best saves of the year.
Yeah, and 100%. In overtime with a few seconds to go on that odd man rush with I believe it was Larkin and Raymond, I believe. But holy, what happened to the defense?
If I remember correctly, wasn't Matheson okay in that game?
Yeah, maybe. He was okay, but I just feel like the team as a whole is not back checking, and that's we're talking about
the Wings game.
We're talking about the Wings game Friday night that they lost 3-2 in the shootout.
Well,
that really could have been like a 7-2 game, and I'm gonna say that both goaltenders were amazing, but like the Smith especially in the last probably 10 minutes, the regulation and then the shootout. Holy cow!
The Smith is playing for his job. Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
He needed that. And it's actually the Smith is contributing to part of the problem is I think there's two things going on. One of them is they are tired. They desperately need this week off that's coming up real soon. So, I mean, they played a lot. They've played a lot lately. Okay. The other thing is, and I'm not saying it's Malkin's fault, but whenever Malkin came back, this team changed.
And then kind of has again. It's like, and I know the word that floats around the internet is chemistry, and it's not. I wouldn't so much say it's a chemistry issue. I think it's more of a Malkin feeling. I don't know. Like Malkin's a good player. And when he wants to, I mean, his first game back, what did he score? 2 goals, if I remember correctly?
Yeah.
And he's had a couple of good nights. But he's just falling into that same Malkin trap where he just plays well when he wants to. And I think if he were more consistent, it would be so much better for the team as a whole. And it's still just like playing with, Sidney Crosby. It's hard to play with Gino because, he's first of all, he's Russian and they're differently wired than most people, and the pressure that they put on themselves reflects spreads to the teammates, and it can't be easy to play with Gino. But I think at this point Malkin needs to kind of make a decision where I'm either going to give all I have every shift or I don't know, retire. Like, what's the alternative here? Because
well, I want to give Malkin a pass because he's still coming off a major surgery, and that was not that long ago. So I'm in terms of his play, I'm gonna say give him a pass for let's say another month. If he's still pulling that crap.
What about limiting limit his minutes then? Sorry to interject there, but limit his minutes. If he can't give up to bounce off both of your points, okay? Because both of your points are valid. Jen, he's not, I don't know if it's not because he's not giving his all, it could be injury, but the bottom line is limit his minutes. If he can't give 100% every shift, limit his minutes.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
You fear at that age with injuries and you get scared and it's like, oh my God, I could get hurt again. And then I'm out again. And all that creeps up in your head, which is a huge, we've talked about it before and we witnessed Letang go through it. We witnessed Sydney go through it. I mean, he's still a little apprehensive on the face-off. So, when you get to a certain age, worry and fear of injury is something to consider. But limiting the minutes, give him shorter shifts, so that he doesn't burn out and that he can like make the most of those minutes that he has, I think would be a great idea. Yeah, and finding a line that works for him, you know. I think what was he? He had Heinen.
McGinn and Rodriguez is his latest line.
Yeah, they took Rodriguez off and put Rust up with Crosby.
Yeah.
Which honestly, I'm going to say this: the Crosby Gensel Rust line has been working. Obviously, like they're, especially the past 4 or 5 games, they've been like, I would go as far to say it's been a one-line team lately. Yes. That's how good that line has been. But this is the problem that the Penguins have always run into, is that when one line gets hot, you take away from another line. And that's been, especially problematic with Crosby and Malkin over the years. They had those issues, it's like this whole cyclical thing, is that they'll get guys who gel with Crosby, but then you're leaving Malkin with nothing. Or you get guys who gel with Malkin, and then you give nothing with Crosby. And this was one of the fears that I believe all 3 of us had before Malkin came back, was what was going to be the consequence of this. And we're seeing it.
Well, okay.
And not to be over dramatic, but
the Malkin line is supposed to be Malkin, Zucker, and Kapanen. Zucker got hurt. They might Kucherov him and just keep him to the playoffs and hold up that $5.5 million salary till the playoffs and I mean, they probably like the Lightning did. I'd be okay with that.
I mean, honestly, the Lightning did it. Why not everybody else?
Hey, why not? But so Zucker was supposed to be the left wing, and then Kapanen was supposed to be the right wing. And Kapanen is an absolute disaster. He is now on the 4th line, and even then, like it's right now it's a failure. And this is not the first time it's happened where they've demoted him because he just absolutely sucks. He is total garbage right now, and it sucks. So. So now it's Malkin and Rodriguez is good, although he has cooled off. And then poor Brock McGinn, who hasn't, I don't even think, practiced with Malkin, just gets thrown on a line with him. And as you say, Jen, it is very different playing with him. So that had to be a culture shock for him.
It would be scary. I'd be scared. I mean, I've been in the same room with Gino, and I'm like,
well, and think about it. McGinn was with Carolina before he came to Pittsburgh, right? And I mean, Carolina absolutely has some dynamic players, and I'm not going to take away from Sebastian Aho or guys like that, or Teravainen, but you're looking at like Evgeny Malkin, like you're talking about a legend here. Like you're talking about someone who, when he's at his best, has known to be on like a different planet. And the bottom line is Gino's Gino. And to your point, Jen, Russian players do operate very differently. And that's not just Malkin. Like, that's just like, I feel like and I don't mean this in a bad way. It's in their DNA. They learn a different breed of hockey over there.
Yeah.
So, that being said, Joe, that's a really good point that he's without Zucker, but it's like they're going to have to figure something. Hopefully they take the All-Star break to figure something out and practice different combinations to kind of balance things out again.
Yeah. I think there is another issue here, and it's all psychology. When we do this, I made a flow chart of it. It happens so often. Penguins start the season, and then people get hurt. And when people get hurt, especially the Stars, we think, oh my God, they're screwed. Oh no, the Stars are hurt. What are we going to do? And that's when they rattle off a whole bunch of wins because they play a completely different way. And then we say, oh, when the Stars come back, everything's going to be wonderful. And oh, what are the lines going to be? And oh my God. And then they come back and it all goes to crap. And I think it's all psychology. When you play without the Stars, you have to play within Sullivan's system. You have to play hard, and everybody has to play. But when Crosby, Malkin, and Letang are out there, it's like, oh, we got all the talent in the world. It's like the secondary players pull up a lawn chair and say, I'm just going to watch this. And Malkin, Crosby, and Letang think, oh, the gang's back together. Globetrotter hockey. Here we go. And screw defense and screw. It just seems that way.
And Joe, you and I have seen this before back under Bilesma, even under Therrien. I would say more so under Bilesma than anything else, because under Therrien, they were still trying to figure themselves out, right?
They were still young.
Exactly. But under Bilesma, you and I keep on talking about that 2011-2012 season when Crosby finally got healthy enough to come back, and Malkin had another great year and such. Like that season, and then even the shortened 23 season, or I'm sorry, 2013 season for me were like the perfect examples of that. And we've seen that in the past few seasons since they won their back-to-back cups. And I feel like we're seeing that again right now. It's like, yeah, they're coasting. Like, Jen, you said 6-4 in the past 10, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 6-4 in the past 10, it's like not terrible, but it's like
it's batting above 500.
It's batting above 500, but when you're looking at other teams in the conference, like a loaded Atlantic division that is like, giving the Metro a run for their money and how stupid good it is, that even the Central has a lot of good team, a lot of teams are playing good hockey right now. So 6-4 isn't good enough. I hate to be that person, but 6-4 is not good enough when you've got so many teams playing good hockey.
6-4 in a three. How many wins in the playoffs again? 4.
Sorry,
I just had a moment there.
It's basically what you're trying to say. It's a 7-game series.
You're
going 7.
Yeah.
Okay, but I mean, for the season, right before that, this 6-4 crappy stretch, they were like rattling off like almost like 15 out of 17 or some crazy thing like that. So
right.
One of the only things that worries me aside from goaltending, because even watch Jari get blow a night. Like he couldn't save anything. I don't remember what game it was. Maybe it was against the Kings. The last game.
Yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah. The last week's been a blur for me, but Jari wasn't on that night. Okay. And I know you're not going to be every night. I get that. But so we don't have the best backup goaltender, right? We're burning out Jari. We're going to be burning out our top line because they're working harder. We're burning out, and then we're not utilizing the other 3 lines properly. Our defense kind of falling apart a little bit. They're tired, sure. What bothers me, guys, and I'm gonna get some heat for this, but these players are playing anywhere from 8 to 24 minutes a game.
Mm-hmm.
Not all at the same time. Like, what's so hard? If you're playing back-to-back every single day, sure, but they've only had a few back-to-back games that I can remember so far, and they have time to rest. Like when you're playing 8 to 24 minutes a game with rest in between, how are you that tired? You're training every day. You're taking care of yourself. You're resting. Like I don't really buy, and I never have. And you guys know that in the years we've been doing this, I never buy into the, they're tired. Because to me, that's like, well, what are you doing here? What are you here for? If you're not learning to manage your like fatigue or your anaerobic strengths, or you're not being able to show up every night. You look at some players and they're just like unreal. What's up? Like William Nylander, for example. I know he's younger, but you watch him in a game when he's on and is like playing his best. He doesn't there's no quit in that kid. There's none. He plays with so much heart. So I just wish that we could kind of get away from that. We're tired. And if that is an issue, then what can we do to remedy that? Because it is a concern. So we're going to get burnt out. Come the first round, we're going to blow it because we're tired. Like if we're tired now, how much more tired are we going to be in the next, 36 games I think we have?
Yeah, come May. And to bounce off that, Jen, there are 31 other teams going through this. 31 other teams are going through this.
It's not like it's not like the Penguins are paying 10 extra games than everybody else or something like that. Yeah.
Right. And it's like, I see so many teams who are doing just as much, or I look at teams who are like the Florida Panthers right now are the best team in the league, right?
Yeah.
Their energy levels are stupid. Like, and we've felt this upward trajectory with them for the past few years.
Yeah, definitely.
And they have arguably the best goaltending combo in the league with Spencer Knight and Sergei Bobrovsky, which they're going to have to figure that out sooner than later, right? But they've got so many players, and I always go back to this. It's not just about the energy levels, it's the intrinsic motivation. How much do you want it?
That's something that I question with the Penguins a lot. And I talk about this lack of inspired play. And some of the players in their post-game interviews, they talk about motivated play or desperate play. I don't remember the word, but inspired play means you're out there having fun. You're enjoying yourself, because that first and foremost takes a lot of the pressure off. You're like, I'm here to just have some fun and do my best. And that is when you'll see people shine, because they get out of their head and they just play the game they've been playing since they were 4. But,
like, I look at the Los Angeles, I didn't get to watch the whole game yesterday, okay? But the Kings are another up-and-coming team, right?
They're unreal right now.
Yeah, they're unreal. Quentin Byfield just came up, who's absolutely amazing. It seems like Kopitar and Doughty and the older crew, if you will, have almost been rejuvenated by this youth.
Yeah.
And, I saw the Kings here in Tampa, and they wound up losing. I believe it was either last minute or in overtime. So Tampa wound up winning. But like the way the Kings played, like, I feel like they played beyond what they actually have, if you get my drift.
Well, they're playing inspired hockey.
Exactly. It's like they want to be there every night. They're playing with something to prove. I look at Anaheim like that. They, even I saw the Devils the other night, and the Devils are one of the worst teams in the league. They still impressed me with the fact that they're terrible. They literally have nobody, but they're playing like they want to be there. And I feel like watching the Penguins, and I've honestly felt like this all season, it is so easy to coast, right? And get by on talent. But there comes a point in the season when you don't have that emotion in your game, and it's going to show up. And I feel like we've seen it in this 10-game stretch, because even the Arizona game, they got lucky. They were tied 3-3 very late in the game, and Arizona's that bad that they were able to get away with it and score 3 goals in the last few minutes. But they were not playing a good hockey game.
Maybe they don't give a crap about the teams they played. Who cares about
the Kings? That's a problem. If that's an ego thing,
I think that's true. I think
if that's an ego thing, then the team's doomed. Because if you've played with that mentality, you already think, oh, I'm better than this team, so why do I show up? It's the wins.
It's there's no rivalry with the Kings. There's no rivalry with Phoenix or whatever the heck they're called these days. There's no rivalry with the Kraken or Ottawa or Columbus or San Jose. Once you play Philly or the Capitals or the Rangers, they'll be up for that.
But what's really funny is all 31 teams in the league, though, do not feel that way about the Penguins. There's 31 teams in the league. Let me tell you, because I have seen the Penguins in I've lost track of how many different arenas I've seen the Penguins in, but I'm going to say probably a third of them. Let me tell you, teams get angry when the Penguins are in their building and they show up. And the Penguins need to have that same drive and that same mutual respect for their opponents. That's what it is. Because I've seen the Penguins in Detroit, Philly, both in New York, New Jersey, here, Toronto, Carolina,
Ohio.
Columbus. Yeah. I've seen them in so many different places. And let me tell you, you feel the energy in the building. You feel the energy in the building. And let me tell you, when I watch a Penguins game on TV in Pittsburgh, the 12 seasons. I think we're at 12 now. Oh no, this might actually be the 13th season. They've been in PPG because 2010. I've yet to feel that energy. I have not felt that energy in a building in Pittsburgh since the Igloo.
Well, then you need to come with me to a game.
I won't be traveling anytime soon.
Oh, that would be so much fun to go to a game with you. Oh my goodness.
The three of us, we will be going.
We would wreck the place. They would definitely.
No, but I'm serious. Like the last Penguins game I went to in Pittsburgh, okay? And this was right before the pandemic struck. And you figure the Penguins are rolling, okay? And they're playing Montreal, and usually like Montreal draws well and such. Nobody was into the game. They won 4-1, and I felt like I was walking out of a 4-1 loss.
Spoiled.
It was spoiled. So, and honestly, so I'm going to say this actually in defense of the players. I feel like they're feeding off the fan base because let's face it, the fans drive it in a sense, okay? And if you don't feel the motivation from your fans in the building, why bother?
Because you're getting paid a lot of money to do what you love. I see this.
I don't disagree with you, Jen. I don't disagree with you.
But if you, like take me for an example, okay? In sports, when I was competing at high levels, I would be able to like zone out. There'd be thousands of people screaming at everyone in the race, and I would only hear my coach's voice. So some athletes have that ability to tune everything out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I mean, the crowd does help, or a good, old-fashioned fisticuffs help. But I think you come to play the game you love. What more do you need other than that, authentic passion? Yeah, the Pens score, the crowd goes wild, and then Arizona scores, and the fans kind of lose interest in the game. They're only enjoying it if the Pens are doing well. You know what I mean? Where am I going with this?
No, but But I mean, you're making complete sense. But
it doesn't sound like it.
What? No, but what I'm saying, like I'm saying that I feel like the Penguins are a team who need an outside factor because they don't have that intrinsic motivation, but they don't have that outside factor because, to Joe's point, the long string of success over the past 30 years. Yes, I said 30 years. I'm going back to the Mario years, has spoiled Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but I think with this team in particular, I mean, it is unique. You have your three best players that have been together for about 17, 18 years.
16.
15, okay. Yeah, 15, 16, yeah, 2006.
Maybe it's hard to get up for a game, every single game, every single night, especially. I mean, they played 15 games in January. That's basically one game every other day, and there were 3 back-to-backs. Yeah, maybe it's just hard to get up for every game. Maybe I think it is. I think it is that Globetrotter mentality. It's like, hey, we got the guys. Let's just throw it around and see what happens and play fire wagon hockey. Woohoo! I don't know.
Well, and to go back to my original question that I had a few months ago when Fenway Sports Group first basically publicized their interest in the Penguins, okay? One of my questions was, would there be a change in dynamic in the structure of the organization? We all agreed that likely not. And that has exactly been the case. It's like nothing has changed except who pays them at the end of the day. And I mean, I look at other organizations, not just within hockey, but within other sports. And, I mean, actually the Steelers are kind of a great example. I feel like the Steelers are kind of in an identity crisis right now, especially with Ben retiring and such, and there are times that, yeah, you've been successful, but not quote successful. You haven't reached that pinnacle, right? You haven't reached the Super Bowl or the Stanley Cup or whatever your pinnacle is. And you just have to look in the mirror and say, hey, what are we doing wrong? Why aren't we with those guys? And I mean, I feel like the Steelers are starting to do that, but the Penguins haven't done that yet. And I feel like it's going to take
The owner just showed up. They're trying to find out where the bathrooms are. I mean, they're not gonna, they're not like day one. They're gonna be like, okay, get rid of everybody.
No, but my point is, I don't think the owners are going. The owner, Fenway Sports Group, said straight up, and remember, Fenway Sports Group has a multitude of investors. Like LeBron, like they don't. I believe they have a majority owner, but it's not like how with Ron Burkle, how he was basically like the one backer. Fenway Sports Group has multiple backers. They have come out and said that Mario still runs like status quo.
Well, there was actually a move, I believe this week. They just extended Jeff Carter for another couple seasons at $3.125 million.
Status quo, which honestly, I actually do like the deal.
And that's the thing is basically they're saying, probably saying, we're not blowing this up. We're gonna keep going. Now, Malkin is a free agent after this year, and so is
Letang is.
Yeah. So where do we go? I mean, I've heard rumors that Letang is, because he's French Canadian,
Montreal bound.
Montreal would love to have him and would pay anything for him, which makes a lot of sense. So I don't know, but you'd be okay with Letang going?
Okay, so here's what I know. Here's what I think. Malkin and Gino and Sydney. Let's try that again. Malkin, Sydney, and Letang do really want to win together one more time. And they've kind of, forget about the last couple of seasons, but they've kind of showing that this year they might be able to hang a little bit. Maybe if they continue to propel in the direction they're going and play on those nights when they win, when they play with so much like love and life in their game, they can do this. Now, do we see Letang and Gino signing maybe one more year? Or is Gino going to Florida and Malkin going to
if it's
Montreal?
I understand. I hear maybe Malkin just would want to say, yeah, I want to stay. I want to retire a Penguin.
Yeah, no, he does.
I'll take a reduced salary because he's making $9.5 million this year.
He's not getting 9 point. He's not worth it.
Right. So
here's the problem. I don't see them taking 1-year deals.
No.
So then they're gone.
Probably 5-year deals,
especially since Jeff Carter got a 2-year deal. Okay, and Jeff Carter is not at the level of Malkin, Letang, or Crosby, but I'm going to put him a notch below because of his longevity in the league. He has 2 Stanley Cups. He's got a proven track record. So I'm looking at Carter's deal, and I think Carter's deal is very, very fair, considering, he's going to be 37 this year. So, 2 years is a stretch, but you've got to think but they're paying him so little compared to what he made at the peak of his career that, I think it's a fair trade-off. So to me, that's the bar with Malkin and Letang. Like, okay, you want a 2-year deal, then fine. You got to take 4 or 5 mil max.
Gino said he has enough money. He's already rich. Something about money. He doesn't. I think Malkin. I forget the exact quote, but I'm trying to Ginoize it and be like, I have money. I no need the money or whatever. Sounding like it's an Italian, but yeah, I think he'd take a money drop. He made it clear he has money.
Yeah. So maybe they keep both and they just.
But if Montreal offers more than Pittsburgh would, I don't know with Letang. I think he might be gone.
Yeah. That's hard to it's hard to turn down. And hey, maybe you want something different. I don't know, but the pressure on Letang if he does go to Montreal would be enormous. They don't fool around up there. It's not. There's no listless, quiet fans in Montreal like they are in Pittsburgh.
And sorry to say this, like he's watching, but he's not really a fan favorite outside of his market. Like if you look at other players that are fan favorites that aren't on your team, right? Like Joe Thornton, for example, he's a fan favorite across the board. Sydney is, well, he's loved and hated, but
he's controversial. we're gonna put him as controversial, but Letang is like, you talk to people from other fan bases, they hate Chris Letang. Straight up hate Chris Letang.
Why?
I think it's his style of play, because he is more on the aggressive side, like not as aggressive as, let's say, like Dion Phaneuf was in his prime, or even like Zdeno Chara. But Letang has been aggressive enough in his career. Now, keep in mind that Letang doesn't have, quote, a reputation, but there is it's been weird, I actually wore my Letang jersey to All-Star Weekend here. I didn't wear it but I wore it Sunday. I wore Lightning on Saturday, and the people were furious when I showed up. And I was like, huh? And I never really thought about it, because I have worn my Letang jersey outside of Pittsburgh before, and I mean, yeah, I got some sort of flack, but yeah, people do not like him.
So do they say he's dirty?
I don't think he cares, though. I don't think.
I don't think he cares.
I think he gets off on that. I think he kind of likes being the bad guy.
No, he doesn't. He absolutely does not care. But yeah, there. I don't know if they go as far as saying that he's dirty, but pretty close. You might as well say it.
But the hate on Crosby is just laughable. Basically, you're just jealous because he's not on your team. I equate to me.
No. Okay,
What?
I got to stop you there. Early in Sydney's career, he was hard to play with. He was temperamental. He was what's the word? Sensitive. He did a lot of complaining. Okay.
He earned his reputation.
He earned his reputation. It's not because he's so good. It's because he wasn't that team player. It's like, okay, look at Connor McDavid right now. Such a good hockey player. And I see your face, Joe. I'm sorry. I know it's hard looking, being in and seeing from, I wasn't speaking from before. But look at Connor McDavid. He does not have a good reputation, right? Aside from him being skilled. And then he comes out and he does this interview and he's like, well, I don't care. Whatever, right? That attitude. Well, Sydney in his early days, he had, a very questionable personality, let's say. He's grown and he's become quite the man and teammate and leader. Yes. But to say that it's just because people are jealous of him.
No, I mean, it is. I mean, I get the crybaby thing. And I mean,
I wasn't going to say it.
he was 18,
but he's still like that
literally
sometimes.
Was a baby.
Look at him.
He was a baby that cried.
He's still that guy. It's just
no,
not
but
time.
So Jen, I think about that image because as soon as you brought that up, I think about that image in Philly when he's pointing to his tooth, teenage Crosby, and he's literally crying about his tooth. That is what I think about. I think it was his rookie year.
He got his tooth knocked out.
It was Darian Hatcher. Of course, Darian Hatcher knocked out his tooth.
His tooth
he still has those moments.
What's he supposed to do? Thank the guy? Hey, thanks for knocking out my teeth.
Well, no, but I think what Jen's trying to get at it was, there was definitely the skill. There was, in terms of his skill, he transitioned very easily, right? But in terms of his maturity, he did not. Now, granted, there was a huge load put on his shoulders when he joined the league, and while it seemed like he handled it well, he obviously did not, because he lashed out on the ice and did stupid things and earned his reputation. And honestly, I was a teenager at that time and I didn't understand it, being 15, 16 years old. I'm like, why does everybody else hate Sidney Crosby? But then by the time, honestly, I'm going to tell you this. It took me moving out of Pennsylvania and living in another market to understand why other fan bases and other teams hated Crosby so much.
The hate I see on him is not about the crybaby stuff. It's about basically discounting his skill and his contributions, and basically saying, "Oh, all he does is get assists. He doesn't score any." By the way,
he won the Rock Richard 5 years ago.
Yeah. It's total disrespect.
He's lost his shot confidence. You see it on the breakaway. You see it in the what's that thing after 3-on-3 shootout? He's losing his confidence.
Yeah.
He's lost his confidence. You can blame it on the surgery on his wrist, but he's not the same player he was mentally. But when he gets out of his head, he's still the best bloody hockey player on the planet at this age. You see him when he is in his element and he's not thinking, he's still fantastic to watch. Like, and he could still continue. I mean, Ovechkin's a year older than him and he's leading the league in both points and goals, or he was a week ago. Like, anything's possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think Huberdeau surpassed Ovechkin in the points total. But yeah, Ovechkin's still up there.
He's killing it,
and you figure Ovechkin's going to be 37 this summer, and
Sydney's gonna be 35, so 2 years.
Yeah, I'm convinced that Ovechkin, the thing that I didn't appreciate about Ovechkin when I was younger, I'm going to say this right now, is the youth. Like, there were questionable things about Ovechkin when he came into the league, right? Like how he seemed to always leave his feet when he hit somebody. Like, that was problematic. He could not hit somebody while being on the ice. But one thing I've always respected about him is the fact that he has always played with this youthful energy.
He's having fun.
I don't know if I've ever seen him not have fun.
Big difference.
He eats chicken parm before games. That's why he has fun. If I had chicken parm before every game, I'd have a lot of fun too. I love chicken parm.
And a couple shots of vodka.
Hey,
but that's the thing. Like, Ovechkin has, I think the reason why Ovechkin has, like, I'm gonna go as far as saying this, a better reputation among hockey fans is because of the energy he exudes. Right? He's always got, and I'm not saying that you always have to. You don't always have to walk around with a smile on your face. That's not McDavid or Crosby's personality, right? Like, I totally appreciate them being low key, but Ovechkin is almost like the Peyton Manning of hockey for me. He's never not having fun.
I was going to say that Crosby is the Tom Brady of hockey.
Yeah. And I think Ovechkin's the Peyton Manning of hockey. Also,
people love Ovechkin because chicks dig the long ball. Chicks dig the long ball and chicks dig goals. He scores goals. Assists are not as sexy as goals.
I think assists are pretty sexy.
Yeah, they are. But let's face it, Ovechkin from the circle, like, holy, like, it's not so much about the goals for me. And you're never going to see me wearing an Ovechkin jersey or anything like that. I want to make that very clear. But for me, with Ovechkin, his shot is nasty. It's like that.
He has more confidence. He's got confidence, like, coming out of every pore in his body.
He just oozes swagger.
90%.
Like, he knows what he's good at.
90% of his goals is the same thing. He sits on that dot and they feed him the puck and he shoots it and it goes in. And
why fix what's not broke, right? The point is to win.
Exactly.
Here's an idea. How about stopping it?
Guys,
that's what I was going to say.
Go ahead.
That's on the defenses and the goalies for not stopping it then.
Oh yeah, that's like, why are you allowing this to happen?
Guys, I heard a little rumor that Flower might be going to Washington. Yeah. I didn't know how to think. I don't know how to. I'm like, how does he do that? But then I think there's like 1,400 ex-Penn players playing for them, so it's like.
Yeah, but Fleury stopped Ovechkin on the breakaway in 2009 in Game 7, and then it had another crazy Game 7 in 2017. Like,
if Fleury goes to Washington, I will lose my freaking mind. I'm losing my mind just thinking about it. No, you cannot. You cannot do that. My first thought
was like, no.
Oh my God.
You're not allowed.
Like, I thought it hurt when Brooks Orpik went to Washington.
That hurts. It
hurts.
It kind of hurt when Niskanen went.
No, Orpik was
Orpik was the heart and soul of the Penguins. He was the conscious. He was the heart and soul of those early Penguins teams. Yeah, that hurt. And then he became
and
Fleury.
Orbic had to go, but for him to go to Washington was just painful. But Fleury, no.
Can you imagine?
That's like,
but I don't think he's happy in Chicago, and they're not, he's getting up there in his career too, and I think he wants to play for, a competitive team. But here's a thought. Why can't he just come back to Pittsburgh and be Jerry's backup? Because he'd be a good backup.
He makes too much, and he probably
Gino can make less.
Well, they can't adjust it during the season.
Yeah, he makes way too much money. It's not going to happen.
Now wait, they just cleared $5.5 million because they're going to Kucherov Zucker, so maybe they will have some cap space. I don't know. But no.
But could you imagine like a playoff round between Washington and Pittsburgh with Flower playing for Washington?
Oh,
I can't.
God.
I cannot wrap my mind around this.
It's definitely living in like a simulation. This is not real. That would be like that would just cement things for me. Be like, this is.
I thought it was weird when Chara went to Washington after.
Yeah, that's a weird one too.
Which Chara's now with the Islanders now, I believe.
Where he started.
Yes. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. He started there, finished there, cool. But
it would be funny if Fleury
went to when Lundqvist went to Washington too. Lundqvist never played.
He didn't really play for them though. But it would be funny if Fleury went to Washington and then just totally did a heel turn on Pittsburgh. It's like, you know what? Washington is a much better city than Pittsburgh, and Ovechkin is much better than Crosby, and Crosby is a crybaby, and just totally trashed Pittsburgh.
Well, let's face it. We know that Fleury.
I would see Letang doing that before Flower. Flower loved his time here.
Yeah, but Fleury is like the ultimate troll. So if he were to go to another team inside the Metro, I'm going to say any team inside the Metro, he will find any and all ways to troll Crosby, Malkin, and Letang.
But they love each other, so
they do. But that's what I mean. It'll be loving. It would be
so weird. Oh my God, especially they played each other in the playoffs, because we're not playing the Islanders this year, thank goodness.
Unless they win every game.
Yeah. Well,
really, they had it tough with injuries though, and COVID.
The Islanders had it tough with injuries, COVID, and then remember, I think this is the key here that I forgot until it was announced he came back. Barry Trotz was on leave.
What?
Yeah. I mean,
Barry Trotz was on leave for a long time from the Islanders. They were being run by they were being run by their assistant coaches, and honestly, I forgot that. So everything that's happened with the Islanders this year, because we know that Barry Trotz can adapt to literally any situation, right?
Oh,
he can take the worst lemons and make them into the best lemonade. And I was like, what's going on with them? And I forgot that he was on leave.
Do we know why? Is he back yet? Is he okay?
He's back. To be honest, I'm not sure why he went on leave, and I'm not going to, because I haven't looked into it. I'm not going to say anything because, I haven't done my research on that. And I can't even remember how long he was on leave for. But the bottom line is, to me, I feel like the Islanders could be back next year. But we also just know how much of an influence Trotz has on that team.
He was.
That's the bottom line.
He did have COVID.
Yeah, so, I did know that, but I felt like there was something else as well.
One last thing. What the heck's going on in Edmonton?
Connor McDavid is a cancer.
Connor McDavid they interview him. McDavid gets pissy. Draisaitl was about to kill that one dude.
Oh my God! Remember?
I mean, I don't know. Is the press in Edmonton? Yeah, why are you so pissy? Is the press in Edmonton that vicious or something, or are they just so frustrated?
I think no. I mean, Jim Matheson. I was actually on a podcast with him. He's not a bad guy. So when this was all going on, and I was kind of I'm not really much on Twitter anymore these days, but from what I caught from it, he got a lot of support and he got a lot of hate. But he asked, what's going on in Edmonton? Leon, what's going on? Or whatever, right? And Leon kind of gave a snarky answer. And Jim's like, so why are you so pissy? I mean, if I asked you a question, Joe, and you answered me with attitude, I'm going to ask you what your problem is.
Right.
You know, and I think that we want to see our hockey players with personalities, whatever that personality is. And if our reporters can't do what they need to do to bring out said personality, what are we complaining about? But to go back to what I was saying before, Connor McDavid, and I've been saying this pretty much his whole career since he was drafted, has a terrible attitude problem. And apparently so does Leon. But the problem, and I think they do have some problems with goaltending and defense, if I remember correctly. I don't watch too many other games. But when you have your captain, let alone like a superstar on your team that's not leading your team, you have problems. Like, look at Sydney. Look how many bottom feeder players that have come to play with him are young players, and he made them into stars. Why can't Connor do that too? Connor's just as good as Sydney, if not better, speed related.
I look at what Marlowe and Thornton did in San Jose all those years. No, they never won they never got a cup out of it, but look how many solid players came out of San Jose all those years.
And Sid never was pissy with a reporter. He never, even when he was extremely frustrated.
What about that one about Philly? And he's like, I just don't like them.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's Philly. He's
that's my favorite interview.
But that's like the most. I don't want to say personality to be disrespectful to Sid, but like that's probably been like the snarkiest he's ever been in an interview. I'll say that, snarkiest, right? But he's never been, quote, intentionally rude. Will he be honest? Yeah, but he's never been intentionally rude. So,
no, but he's gotten frustrated. He's gotten frustrated.
Right. Yeah.
He's not like he's not. You know what I mean? Like he's a good Canadian boy, and he's got a little bit of respect there.
No, but to go back to your point, I'm just thinking about like different captains in the league. Like I also look at, you know, I was really critical of Colorado naming Gabriel Landeskog captain of the Avalanche, but I'm going to be honest, I just didn't know a ton about him. I'm like, really, Landeskog? But look at Colorado, how consistent they've been, you know, over the past few years. Now, you know, they've had some players kind of
come out of the overall right now.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so and they've won 18 straight home games.
Let's see how happy they are when they lose in the playoffs yet again.
Right. That Colorado Florida Stanley Cup, we'll see.
That's my final. Florida get Colorado.
Yeah.
And Florida wins because of Joe.
I mean, it's entirely possible, but I feel like, you know, like both of their seasons right now smell 2019 Tampa Bay Lightning to me right now. Like y'all are getting too hot too fast. Like
right. You peak too early. Not a good thing.
Florida is scary though. Like they are super scary. But the point is, like, you know, Sasha Barkov is a great example in Florida. You know, he has been as a captain, he has been very self-critical over the years, you know, and he really carries the team on his shoulders. And obviously, you know, with their success, it's easy for him, you know, but like Barkov to me is an example of a really good captain as well, because he takes responsibility and he does it. He's not disrespectful. You know, he carries himself very well. He you know, dishes out praise when he needs to. He dishes out criticism when he needs to, but he takes that responsibility seriously. And that's what a good captain does, right? And, you know, we've seen that with Stamkos over the years, because Stamkos was not a good captain in the beginning, and he's evolved into one. You know, Crosby, I think Dylan Larkin's going to be a great captain up in Detroit, but with Edmonton, it's like, okay, you've got two of the best players in the world, and you're not doing diddly squat.
Well, I mean, it also doesn't help that you surround them with absolute garbage, and that's.
I mean, they all made the league. Like, what do you? There's a lot of hockey players out there in the world. You got to be. If this comes down to the bench.
Okay, fair point.
This comes down to the bench. You got to utilize your roster to its strength. If something's not working, you fix it. Play around with the lines. Have more team building exercises. Keep the coaches out of the room. Have those players become family. Do things that are fun. Keep the wives and girlfriends out of it. Just the boys. build relationships and chemistry off the ice, and maybe it'll translate onto the ice and lose the attitude.
Right. And it's not that Edmonton hasn't attempted to fix the roster problems. They've made moves over the years. You know, they
just got Kane. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, which, you know, that I'm not going to say anything, but yeah.
Should we do our picks?
What for what?
The next 10 games. So
next 10 games.
February, there's 10 games. We play Washington, Boston, Ottawa, New Jersey twice, Philly, Toronto, Carolina.
I'm a visual person. I gotta pull it up.
Okay, pull it up.
Yeah, I gotta pick it up too.
I'm going 5 for 5.
You're saying 5 and 5?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I'm a visual. So
yeah.
Hold on, let me flip
Caps,
here.
Boston, Ottawa, Devils, Flyers. Playing the Flyers. That's a guaranteed win.
I have that.
Well. I mean, the Flyers are a hot mess, but you never know. The
Flyers.
They're a team that usually show up to play Pittsburgh.
They closed the upper bowl of their arena because nobody shows up to their games. That's sad.
I have a friend from back home who wanted to go. She was like offered. She actually wanted to go to a Flyers game a couple weeks ago, and then she couldn't go, and she was kind of bummed because she's like, tickets are so cheap right now. She's like,
it's sad. It's sad.
Yeah,
I'm not even allowed in a hockey rink, guys.
I don't remember the Flyers ever having
in Canada. They're only allowed to have 500 people. Canada, come on, guys. Enough. It's been what, 2 years now. Let's stop with this being so restrictive. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Come on, guys. This is everything in America is open up.
Today. We opened to 50% today, but it's still strict on, vaccination policy mandates. You have to be vaccinated or you can't do anything.
You
can't even go to Walmart in Quebec. You can't go to Walmart if you're not vaccinated.
Wow.
And not to be disrespectful to anyone's health, but it's like, I feel like we're at the point that people are going to make the choices that are best for themselves, right? Like, I'm pregnant, like I'm being careful, but at the same time, I'm not,
you're not putting yourself in situations that would be risky for you.
Yeah, let people make their own choices at this point, but don't force people to still close everything. My goodness, it's been 2 years now. That's ridiculous. But anyway,
okay,
I'm gonna say 7 and
3.
7 and 3 is what I think. Yeah.
I'm
always optimistic.
I'm with Jen here. I like the 5 and 5 because I feel like there are a couple trap games here. For whatever reason, they always have trouble with Carolina.
I have them losing to Carolina.
And it's a Sunday 1:00 game, and then also the Devils are a trap game.
I have one win and one loss against the Devils.
The Pens play absolute garbage during the day, and there's two day games, and one of them is against Carolina. They're always bad against the Devils, and it's Carolina's tough. So I'd say those are 2 losses.
And then up in Boston's tough too.
I just, besides record, I just want to see how they're going to come out, how they're going to play.
I have Washington, they're going to lose, Boston, they're going to win, or vice versa. They won't win both of those.
They play only 10 games in the month of February, so it won't be an excuse to say, they're tired, they played too much. That's not going to be an excuse. So you don't want. Okay, so that excuse is gone. So let's see how you play now. So I'm real interested to see how they bounce back.
And we've seen Casey kind of rise again. Hopefully he can maintain that. Like, he was unreal. I'm sorry. I was just watching him so proud. Like, I was just like,
hey.
And I think the biggest thing is to not play down to if your opponent is, quote, inferior. And this is something I was taught in youth sports. Do not play down your opponent.
There's no way on earth that they should lose to the Kraken or even have a close game. It's an expansion team.
And then lose to the Wings the next.
And a true expansion team, and not the Vegas Golden Knights.
Right, not that. Team. Yeah, not that convoluted crap.
Did you just call them the Vegas Golden Nuggets?
No, I said Golden Knights, even though chicken nuggets sounds so good right now. I hate you.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Okay, what's your pick? What do you got?
Now I want some gold. Now I want some chicken nuggets. That sounds really good.
What's your pick, Ash?
I said 5 and 5. I'm with you because there are trap games in there. And Toronto seems to give them trouble too.
Toronto's been playing pretty well.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like there are
Ashley-
actually a lot of tough games in there.
Ashley, you'll get this reference. I've heard that the Dallas Cowboys are being referred to as the Toronto Maple Leafs of football. It's perfect.
What, they can't win a playoff game?
It's exactly the same scenario. Very talented, can never win in the playoffs.
I just want to say really quick, since we're talking football for a quick second, I am so grateful that Dan Quinn wanted the Giants job so badly, and the Giants told him to go screw himself.
Why would they do that?
So he's staying with the No. So Dan Quinn was interviewing with a number of teams for a head coaching position.
But why would the Giants not want him?
Why would you want him? He failed in the Super Bowl against the Patriots. You have a 25-point lead and you fall. Dan Quinn was nothing without Kyle Shanahan. He was nothing without Kyle Shanahan. So
he's a perfect example of good coordinator, bad head coach. And yet they want to make him another head coach. So who they just got the guy from the Buffalo.
And they're about to steal Ken Dorsey as their quarterbacks coach. And about to steal their O-line coach. I'm like, let's go.
I like that Dable just came out and said, listen, we're gonna suck. Listen, this is a total rebuild. The previous people were so bad. We're blowing this thing up. I like that. I like his honesty.
I appreciate the honesty, which is why I'm optimistic for once in my life. I haven't been this optimistic about the New York Football Giants since.
We'll see. I mean,
wait. The next game is on Sunday, right?
Quarterback.
The next game
Sunday.
is 2 weeks.
No, it's the 13th. It's 2-week break. They pushed everything back a week because they added on to the NFL schedule because the Super Bowl used to be our birthday weekend, Jen, and now it's my husband's birthday weekend. And I'm like, oh, Andrew's gonna get a Super Bowl birthday at some point in his life. What the heck?
One of you used
to be my sister.
One of you has a birthday on Thursday, and one of you has a birthday on Friday, correct? Oh boy. I wish I had a streamer. Or something.
I'm turning 29 for the 11th time.
Oh, is this a milestone?
Honestly,
I realized I actually have a milestone on Thursday. Not my birthday. I mean, not associated with my birthday. It's just ironic.
It's an anniversary. You're getting your teeth.
I mean, it is the anniversary of the greatest Super Bowl of all time. Okay, let's get that out of the way. It's the anniversary of Helmet Catch. Okay, let's get that out of the way. Okay. No, it's what they apparently call Bon Jovi Day.
Why?
She gets it. She gets it. She gets it.
Look at Joe's face. He's like, wait, what? You look like me when you guys start talking football.
I've been keeping everything like super low key in terms of the timing of everything going on.
Oh, we're halfway there.
Yeah. That's the only update people are getting is that it's Bon Jovi Day on Thursday.
I swear.
Yes.
I'm so
excited. Guys, when I start singing, we need to leave. So thank you so much. Happy early birthday. Always love talking to you guys.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you on Thursday for sure, Ash.
See you guys.
See ya.
Bye.